week, Georgina told us about the joy she finds in books. And I cogitated over that and thought, what's a book I read that I really liked? And I came up with Call of the Wild about a wolf dog, a Jack London story. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, I'm not going to tell you Jack London's story. I'm going to tell you my book story about a dog named Zuko. It happened, and I'm calling it Call of the Wild so I don't interfere with Jack London's story. It all started 2.5 years ago. My son wanted a dog, and I said, okay. So we went to Paws to adopt a dog in Linwood. Well, he picked out a nice little dog, which was all black, and we thought at first that he was a German Shepherd, but it turns out he's a Malinois, and so it's a really mouthy dog. The only thing that Paws told us about this was that the dog was from Yakima, and he was gentle, and he was the smartest in the litter that he was in. So we took him home. But before we could get him down the stairs at Paws, he stopped. He was frightened. In fact, my son had to go back and get some of the staff to help get Zuko down the stairs and into our car. Well, we brought him home and gave him a shower, and he was pretty good for most of the time. Didn't bark a whole lot, and he was basically pretty sweet-natured. We introduced our grandson, who was 5 at the time, and he was able to play with the dog in relative ease. But just in case, I created a little space for the dog, and that space was in our hallway. And I put up a little gate fence that he could go in and out of. Well, the fence was 54 inches high. So I thought, this dog won't jump over that. Well, this dog is a smart dog. He didn't have to jump. He learned how to manipulate the locking mechanism by hooking his mouth, which he is a very mouthy dog, onto the bars of the gate, and he was out. The first time this happened, he came right into the kitchen where I was washing dishes. He was like a ninja. 1 minute he was in the cage, the next minute he was out. I was startled. My wife said, take the gate down. That's not even working. Of course, I said, well, let's try something else. So I put a bungee cord around it. Well, that didn't work either because he learned a way to manipulate that with his paws and his teeth. I kind of gave up at that point, and I agreed with my wife. We better let this dog outside. Now, I have a fenced backyard, and I have a wood fence back there, and this dog likes to jump. If you've ever seen a dog chase a Frisbee and jump for it, that's the kind of dog Zuko is. Well, I wasn't so worried about him jumping over the fence. He had his own devices. He had his own way of doing things in our backyard. All he did was find the weak spot in the fence and get on it. Boom, he was out. Well, that was the first of my many projects. So I thought about it and figured, I got to repair some fence here. I got to repair some fence to get this going. I did that more than a few times, but eventually we got our fence pretty well figured out. Another thing this dog does is barks. He likes to bark, and he has a ferocious bark. He doesn't bite. He hasn't bit any children. He hasn't bit any other animals. He hasn't bit people or other things, but he does have a bark that will just curdle your blood. so he doesn't have to bite. He likes to be busy in the yard, and it was summertime. So I decided I would put some fertilizer on the lawn, Miracle Grow, and get the lawn really looking good. I wanted it to be nice and green. Zuko decided he would help out. But before he did that, he destroyed my glasses, and I didn't know what to do. Fortunately, they were repairable. Well, I continued my gardening as best as I could, and I got that lawn looking pretty good. But Zuko was a big help. Look at that beautiful lawn. Amazing. He's such a good worker. A few weeks later, we were going to have a barbecue at the house. All the people were going to be there. And so I thought, well, geez, I better find those barbecue tools. I went to the garage to look for the tools. Usually they're in a box, lower shelf, right-hand side. I couldn't find them. Hey, hon, have you seen the barbecue tools? Oh, there they are. Scared me to death, especially with the knives and the other things. In conclusion, Zuko is our call of the wild dog for sure. When he sees a squirrel, when he sees another dog, when he sees a rabbit, he darts off. But then again, he can be sweet and good-natured, just like Paws told us to. He's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. You don't exactly know which dog you're going to get at any one moment. But he's a good watchdog. He looks out for us. And thank heavens, knock wood, he hasn't gotten on the fence anytime recently. Mr. Toastmaster.